Okay, let's get right into the beef of things. That's the new way we're starting every episode.
Let's get right into the beef of things.
Welcome to Beef Boys.
I think that was perfect.
Yeah, that'll do. This is a very hello. It's one of those episodes that like feels like God didn't want to have happen, but we're here. We spit in the face of God. And
fuck you, God. This is 26 weeks in a row of a podcast with barely over 1,000 subs. Like, we haven't missed a single week since we've started. People have gone away. People have been worked to the bone. People have been fucking had AIDS. Yeah, and we've got every single fucking week.
Congrats to you, Kudos, for recovering from that, by the way. It's kind of a medical miracle.
Yeah, it turns out...
Yo, that was bars. It's kind of a medical miracle.
Medical miracle, spiritual miracle.
Cinnamon.
The funny thing about having AIDS is if you just lie and say you have AIDS, but you don't, then it's very easy to be cured.
Yeah. Yo.
I just wanted to raise money. I got like a year's free of rent off of that thing.
It was, I mean, what can you say? It's fucking epic.
Those St. Jude's checks are fucking hitting.
Who needs Spider-Man? That's
pretty cool.
I got to meet St. Jude.
I got to meet the real Spider-Man.
The kid you took the St. Jude's checks from got to meet St. Jude because of you. So.
I got to meet John Cena. He said, "Bing chillin'."
Bing chillin'.
Bing chillin'.
You got to meet Chinese John Cena.
Yeah, he just already transitioned.
Yeah.
He walked up to you and he was like,
Andrew Miller.
Bing chillin'. Taiwan isn't a country. And he just turned around and walked away.
That's like one of those like monkey's paw
Chinese
things.
treat.
Like you're like, oh, I finally get the chance to meet John Cena, but then like the catch is he only speaks Chinese, and you're like, no, my hero.
Never meet your heroes.
What if a kid specifically requested him? Like, I want to meet Chinese John Cena specifically.
In bold.
He comes over like, Zai Qian.
That's a meme, but like kids get caught on
to play ice cream to me in Chinese. That's it.
Kids get like fixated on the dumbest shit though. Like I remember seeing some Reddit post where someone's like, my 2-year-old kid is obsessed with this like ad for a lawyer. Like just some random lawyer, to the point that they had like a birthday party themed around it because this kid just was like enamored with like this one TV ad for a lawyer. So like the idea of some kid seeing Chinese John Cena on TikTok and just like gravitating to that, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah,
dude, my brother back when he was like probably two or three, he was obsessed with this 30-minute
car salesman
snow machine ad for Skidoo. And it was on VHS, and I distinctly remember some bits of it because he would watch it so much. So if my brother had been like leukemia ridden at 2.5 years old or 3, he probably would have been like, "Hey, I want the no machine guys," and he would have been happy. He would have died happy.
No, absolutely.
Just with a brand deal from Skidoo.
Yeah. But like, what do you even do? Like, what kind of performance do you do? You know, like for a dying kid over a snow cone machine.
Well, like, but
here it is, the thing.
There's another picture I've seen where it's like there's a kid with who really loves the garbage men.
Dude. Not a snow cone maker.
Oh, I'm stupid. Sorry. Kudos, continue.
I'm sorry, Kudos.
It's alright.
My brother just sitting for hours on end spellbound by snow cone makers like, whoa.
Is that really any more ridiculous?
He has a snow machine any like more impressive.
Just like, well, I mean, kids like to watch guys go like on the trails with snowmobiles and shit.
I like the guy that goes vroom vroom.
Yeah, I guess
I was saying that it was like I've seen pictures where it's like a kid who wants to meet the garbage men and he like cries like he has
like a local garbage man.
Yeah, like just the dude who can't. I've seen a picture. It's like it's very cute. It's like obviously like a 3-year-old kid. Because I guess kids just like obviously their entire world is like one house pretty much. So
right.
You know they see the garbage men, they're like, wow. what crazy dudes, and they like meet them, and this kid's like crying like he just met fucking like Freddie Mercury or something. You know, like
imagine if the garbage man was like a pedophile. I really want to meet him.
I think there is something like a little mystical to the garbage man to like a little kid. Maybe it's like the
Big machine.
What's that thing where it's like you cover their eyes and they're like, oh, the world doesn't exist anymore. What's that
object
thing called?
permanence.
Object permanence.
Yeah, maybe it's that object permanence where it's like, this guy takes something from my house every day and it's gone forever.
he makes things disappear.
Yeah, it might be more widespread because my parents were actually they never like really got into it, but they were kind of writing like a children's story about a garbage truck because they my dad grew up in the city for a little while, my mom grew up in the city her whole life in New York City, and they were talking about like the concept of the story was like a garbage truck being like this like imaginary beast to a little kid, because like, you know, it's like, it's kind of like, Doblex, can you move your microphone arm and make that sound happen again?
Hold on, here, hold on.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
But it's like those sounds where like a garbage truck is such a huge dense metal machine that it makes all these squeaks and hums and moans and everything. The story was gonna be about like how a garbage truck is almost to a kid like in the city is almost like a whale or like a big like beast or something, because like they can't see it. They can't see it, but the sounds it makes every morning at like 6 o'clock in the morning when they're alone in their room are like this is like ethereal otherworldly
That's
creature.
very interesting. I actually hadn't really thought about it like that. That's pretty funny.
Kids also just love trucks, and you know, or like little boys, especially just like little trucks. But like, what kid is, unless they live near a construction site, is ever going to see like an actual like truck or anything? But like a garbage truck is like the closest thing you see where it's like big machine.
Did you guys fuck with trucks? I fucked with trucks.
I think
so.
I like trucks. I think
I probably
I fucked with trucks heavy. Did you
I
guys
mean,
fuck
I
with
like Hot
trains?
Wheels. No.
Yeah,
No.
I like.
I feel like every
Wheels.
kid fucks with trains too. I liked Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
Hot Wheels
my
was
shit.
sick.
build the
Tech
tracks
decks.
and everything.
They were never as hot as
Yeah.
you'd think they would be, though. They're usually like kind of just middle temperature.
Like room temp.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of
true.
disappointing
Wheels.
to
You're spitting.
Yeah.
I always used to make my Hot Wheels go to war with my army men, and the Hot Wheels always won.
Like the Cheetah Age of Empires
violently
2.
mow them down.
Yeah, I would basically just like set them up, and then just like take the Hot Wheel and just fucking throw it, and it would just nuke all of the army men.
Dude,
I win.
What if that's how the Taliban
did
took
it.
over fucking the airport? They just fucking drove Dodge Chargers into it and just took out the soldiers.
That's how they did it.
You can't prove that's
So,
how they didn't do it.
That's true. Before we move on, I want to ask Andrew, how's your day?
My day?
Yeah.
I'm so scared. My day
Just
was
tell me how your
very.
day was.
Shut up,
My-
bitch!
I knew that's what it was gonna be.
Got him.
Got him.
Yeah, we got new sound effects. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
We were.
Well,
You guys were
James
making the thumbnail the other day because I couldn't do it this week, and I came in. It was just. I don't know, Courtney was here editing or something, and it was just every 2 minutes of just setting her up for a shut up, bitch.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, that sound effect is going to be exclusively for like when you guys are talking to Courtney, and I think she'll like put an edit in or like her goofy little text that she does, and I'm just going to preemptively be like, yo, Courtney.
Shut up, bitch!
Shut up, bitch.
She disintegrates.
She turns to
That's
dust.
kind of epic.
Just Thanos
Yeah.
snapped out of there.
Yo, speaking of women, did you guys see that Keemstar thing? The fucking that
I
weird.
did.
Us and
Weird,
half
She
Yeah.
remembers 9/11. I don't want her. That's actually what his tweet said. No meme.
Oh wow.
That's
It's
like
pretty
an
fun.
evolution of. It's like an evolution
You
of
guys
the
didn't
like
see that one?
if her age is on the clock kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. But it's the
yeah.
opposite, because that's saying like, hey, don't go too young. That's weird. This
Right,
this
right.
one is saying I'm going as young as I legally can.
Yeah, Keemstar's like licking his lips and twiddling his thumbs, like. Nah. And here's the thing, right? Like it's legal, whatever. Yo, I get that. It's legal.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's
yeah.
just it's fucking cringe. Like that video that Keemstar uploaded where he's like, "My friends think you're cute."
Oh my god.
Courtney,
dude.
put it up on screen. Courtney,
On
play it.
FaceTime,
Well, not the
bro.
whole thing.
On
but
FaceTime.
I posted a picture of you on Twitter.
I saw.
People think you're pretty.
I know.
You know, the internet has to approve of all the ladies I date, especially Trisha Paytas.
Yeah, I really, really require Trisha Paytas' stamp of approval.
Ooh, you don't like Trisha?
I don't mind her. I just don't take relationship advice from people with the integrity of fucking work paper bags.
Why are you so cute when you talk shit?
I don't know. I'm scared of from you.
Well, Lion Queen, I think I think they'll like you.
I mean, I hope so, but I don't really care, in all honesty.
I don't care either.
Okay, good. I just care that you like me.
Why?
Because I like you.
Ooh. Coming with that heat.
It's such an awful video. I didn't even make it through the whole thing. I got like,
Me neither. I couldn't.
30 seconds in, and I was like, yeah, no, I've had enough.
Yeah, I know. I get what's going on here.
It's also the whole
FaceTime with like a 20-year-old girl with no reason to be talking. Like he's bald, chubby, ugly, and has a dyed beard, and he's 40 something. What Keem? Take a second here. What reason is she talking to you for? Just out of any of them.
Take a breath.
Would it be
buddy.
your
Take
money? And if your money is, if you're okay with that and you're just getting that young punani, good on you. But that shit. But stop posting it, please. It is so abhorrently cringe for everybody else. Like maybe it's a dub for you.
Problem
but
with it. Yeah.
Fuck me.
In addition to the uncomfortable sort of nature of the conversation, is like it's also. Imagine, I think about this sometimes with like Jake Paul, those big YouTubers who feel like they have to like record and monetize like every conversation or like everything they do all day. It's like, could you not have just had a conversation with the girl you're macking on and not uploaded it? Would that have been something as well? I don't know. It seems really kind of dystopian. Like, I need content.
At least
Well,
that's
I
like
think that's what it
monetizable
is.
though. This one is like a self-soothing act because
a flex.
like but like to make himself feel good because he just lost a bunch of weight or whatever. Good on him. I mean, you know, we're extending the life of Keem. I guess that's a dub for society,
He do
right?
be looking good.
He lost some weight. He's looking good, or looking better. I would never classify that as looking good, but he fucking. Cordy, like, give me a second to collect my thoughts and cut back, do a push in. I had a point and it's gone.
James collecting his thoughts.
Dear Mario.
Dear Keemstar. Hold on, I lost it again. Come back to me. So Keem lost all this weight, and he still posted a picture on Twitter less than a few weeks ago of him in a pool at 40 years old with a football jersey on. After flexing that he lost all this weight, right? Which is cringe in and of itself. But now after he's lost the weight and now he's getting like 20-year-old girls to date him, now he's flexing that his biggest his biggest hater over in LA is still fat and stupid or something, talking about Ethan, and it's like, bro, Ethan's probably like 50 pounds heavier than you, but his whole brand is built on being like confident and comfortable with himself and just dancing around and being fat. And you lost a bunch of weight and look somewhat better and are dating young girls, but you can't take your shirt off in a pool.
Maybe he's got a heart surgery scar.
Who's the winner?
Oh, like he's got a pacemaker. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like not to go on this whole tangent for too long. But yeah, the whole thing is just, it's fucking weird. What I think it is, I honestly think it's because when Keemstar dated that first 20-year-old girl, and like, you know, the people were writing articles about it, which who fucking cares?
Yeah.
But like, I feel like he's just trying to do that again. So he'll like post like an ominous picture of like the backside of a obviously 20-year-old woman like on a bridge, and he's just like standing there like, Courtney, zoom in on me. Like, you look like you're about to fucking kill her. Is that what you're planning? But like, it's just he's dropping these cryptic fucking Zodiac killer hints at who his next 20-year-old girlfriend is.
Do you reckon that's kind of for someone like him who's so obsessed with like being relevant and like being and like attention or whatever? I guess maybe he did see like how much publicity he got from just dating a chick, and now he's like, I'm just gonna make this my brand for the next year.
Yeah.
Everybody
I think
looking
that
at
is what's
me.
going on.
But
Yeah.
but he has like 2 and change million followers on Twitter, and most of his tweets don't crack 2,000 likes. So it's like he wins in no capacity here. Like even if one of these tweets like pops off and it's just all quote tweets and shit of people being mean to him, like it's not like he really gets anything out of that. He's not posting like fucking Elgato ads on his Twitter. Like his Twitter is dead and gone, just like everything else he does. But he just gets relevant once a week.
Sponsored by Elgato.
The epic thing about this is no matter what reason he's doing it for, it might make sense to him, but objectively, even to his fans on the outside looking in, every time he posts this shit, it's the biggest L. No matter if it's a dub for him, it's an objective L. It's great.
Yeah.
Well, so
There's
there was
no
that.
debate, even by his stands.
There was his nice like fucking Chris Chan like come and meet my parents Ivy video of him talking to that girl, and then there was
We're gonna have so much fun together when you and I are together.
God, he put that in. But then there was the other one where he searched up photos of 39-year-old girls or whatever it was.
And 2 of them were dead.
They're fucking dead.
Oh my god.
So he posted
they were
4
murdered.
videos.
Like they were kidnapped and murdered.
Yeah, the tweet was like, everyone keeps telling me to date someone my age. Look at the bitches I be dating right now, and look at these 39-year-old bitches, in parentheses, my age. And he posted just 4 cherry-picked images of, I think one of them was a mugshot. One lady was just like a little chubby, and then 2 were like gauntly looking because they died.
They died. They are no longer of this corporeal world.
You Google blank years old, and typically the first thing that will come up is like a news article.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that like he didn't think about
He's a
that.
newsman. He should know this.
Right. Yeah,
He's the tricks of the trade.
Of all people, Keem, you should know this.
Yeah.
I personally,
you live in Drama Alert Nation.
I just can't wait for 2024 when we get the same tweet, but just like, if you can't tell me where you were on Katrina, then I don't want you.
That's
If you can't tell me where you were when Kanye said that Bush doesn't like black people, then I don't want to hear from you.
I don't want you. Just like every couple of years, it's a new disaster that he references.
If you were born before COVID, I don't want you.
If you weren't on site at Sandy Hook, I don't want you.
Oh Jesus! Fucking.
I probably shouldn't have said that one.
No, leave that in. That's epic. So I have 2 stories from the other day that I want to talk about. They're not. They won't take that long. But
take as long as you want, friend.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Spit in my mouth.
Oh my god.
So. The other, thank you.
Good to be back.
The other day I was driving to get Chipotle, right? And it was like 5 or 6 o'clock, so it was like kind of rush hour. Rush hour's not that bad in Florida, but it was rush hour, so there's a lot of roads on the car. You know,
Everyone's rushing.
Everyone's putting their roads on one car. And I'm driving. And I'm coming up on a bridge, and I'm crossing the bridge, and I'm in this is a 4-lane highway with a divider, so it's like 2 and 2, and it's 65 miles an hour. So I'm in the right lane. I want to get to the left lane because the left lane's a little more clear, and I'm trying to go fast. I want that burrito in my belly. And I start merging, and this dude who was like a good amount behind me before is all of a sudden guns it as soon as I put my blinker on, and I'm like, fuck that. I put my blinker on and there was room, and then you saw that and tried to spite me because me getting in front of you like makes your dick small or something. So I just kept going, and I almost hit him as we're getting onto the bridge because I wasn't gonna stop. I don't care. And
I'm ready to die.
He's literally, when it comes to growing up in New Jersey, there's one thing that matters: my pride while driving a vehicle. If someone else was next to me and they were trying to merge, I would have sped up too. I'll say it. I'm one of those guys. I grew up in New Jersey. I can't help it. You want to get in front of me?
This is just a meeting of the minds.
Exactly. If you want to get in front of me, you're basically telling me that I'm a pussy and I should die, and that's not gonna happen. So I'm getting in front of this guy. He does
Bill
that shit.
Plays, and James is just like,
What the fuck?
Call me Biggie because I'm ready to die.
Killing his entire family.
You do that thing that you see those videos where like someone's like trying to like tailgate someone and the guy just pulls a fucking like AK and just holds it out the window for a second
They
or whatever.
slam on the brakes.
And the guy's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's why I've kind of stopped driving like that down here, because like everyone has guns. So
yeah,
like
dude.
I remember I moved down
fuck
here
that.
and my dad was like, you kind of drive like an asshole. Don't do that in Florida. And I was like, no, yeah, Dad, you're 100% right. He's like, don't do that in Florida because someone might get angry and just shoot you in the head because everybody has guns. And I was like,
because it's
that's
Florida.
a good point. But I don't know, something about that fucking chicken barbacoa double meat burrito was calling my name. So I hit it. He's coming up on me. He's laying on his fucking horn. And then I see him swerve out into the lane that I was just in, and he's like fucking inches from the guy in front of him, just trying to get up next to me. Yeah. And then finally this dude sees like some shit's going on, so he gets in front of me, which slows me down. And now we're side to side, right? And we're driving on a bridge. I drive my arm out the window. So I got my arm out the window and I'm driving like this, and I'm driving on a bridge. And I'm in my Taco Bell shirt that I've worn on other episodes.
Do they let you into
and
Chipotle
my hair's all fucked up because I can't get a haircut right now, and it's just all floppy, so it makes me look disheveled and shitty. I'm driving. Arm out the window, I'm driving. This guy comes up to me, and he has his window down, and he's like holding with one hand, and he's just like... And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I roll down my window.
For audio listeners, James is mouthing loud expletives.
Loud slurs.
So I'm driving, and I kind of look over at him, and I give him like a little laugh. I'm like, and I keep trying to drive, and then he starts like fucking like swerving and shit, like trying to get my attention.
He's trying to burn out, take down you.
Yeah. Just like screaming at me. So I roll down the window, and he's just screaming, "You're fat! You're fat! You're fat!"
Is that all he?
No, he's constantly screaming, he like pulled up next to me, he's like, no way, he's fat! You're fat!
This is perfect!
Like hyperventilating in the car, like,
he's
You should have been like, yeah, fuck us. You just got curved by a fat man.
your eyes work! Congrats!
I roll down the window, and I hear him like yelling, "You're fat!" And I'm kind of just like, "What? I can't hear you!" He's like, "You're fat! You're fat!" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't hear you. Come closer." He's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah." Fat! And I'm like, I can't hear you! And he's just getting so fucking angry, and he's like barely looking back at the road at this point. And he's like, "You're fat!" And I'm just like, I don't know, man. And I roll back up. Yeah, he did like the fucking SpongeBob.
Like,
it's not this. It's this. It's this. And I'm like, I don't know. I can't. My bad, man. I can't. And I just roll back my window up, and he's getting so fucking angry at this point. And mind you,
he has a nosebleed.
Mind you, that was so fucking funny. This dude is like 30-something years old. He's the master race. By the master race, very early Beef Boys meme. He was Filipino, or at least he looked Filipino.
The most superior race in the world.
So he's like sexy tan. He's got like big poofy duplex hair. He's got like he's got like a Hollister button up on, and these very specific, distinct glasses that you get at Warped Tour. And I know that they were that for a fact. They're just it's just fucking
like the green.
Well,
were they green?
It's green or red. He had the red ones.
Okay, yeah.
It's these very specific cheap plastic fucking. So and he just had this look on that he had like tats like on his neck and shit. But he was like skinny, and he was driving a fucking Mini Cooper, trying to scream at me driving a fucking Mini Cooper. And no offense if you drive a Mini Cooper, but you can't be fucking road raging in a Mini Cooper. It just looks stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
you're like a yappy dog.
But he just looks like a dude that I would
homophobic while you're wearing like I don't know.
While you're sucking a dick.
I was just say like while you're wearing lingerie as a man or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Courtney, cut that.
Courtney, put that back in.
Courtney, keep that in. That
put it
shit's
back
funny.
Courtney, turn the volume up to it's like kind of uncomfortable for that bit.
Cut that completely.
Courtney,
Put
pizza
time throughout the entire room and make
Courtney,
like 15 of them say it.
It's like being
Courtney, keep all of this in
It's
and
like
then a
being
bit more.
homophobic. It's like being homophobic when you're getting fucked in the ass.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
It basically, I'd say that's the same
So
thing.
anyway, you're
But
so you're going to
he's
Chipotle.
dressed exactly like a dude that I would have seen at Warped Tour in like 2013. It's just this very specific button up that's all the way up to his neck that for some reason like hardcore kids used to do. They would wear fully buttoned to the neck button ups from like fucking Hot Topic or Hollister or some shit.
Yeah.
And just like a snapback with like the snap, not a fitted one, just like turned backwards, big poofy hair, Warped Tour sunglasses. Just looks like a fucking idiot. And then He's still screaming at me, and then he gets in front of me and cuts me off. And then I went from like making a meme of this to getting very angry. So then I got out in front of him, got back in front of him, cut him off. Then he came out to my side again, and then he starts screaming again, "You're fat!" And we're still on a bridge. This is like a mile-long bridge. We're still on a bridge.
His character development has not really gone very far as his insult game goes.
Yeah,
I'm just imagining this like an initial D cutscene where it's like widescreen and like
This is a setup for the race you're about to have.
Exactly. No, so he gets up next to me again, and he's just still doing the "you're fat" thing or whatever. So I look at him, and I kind of like gesture that I try to gesture that I'm like coming into that lane. I'm like, and I swerve out to the left as much as I can, and then fucking rip it right, and I'm just at this point gonna take him out. Like I'm about to kill both of us.
Jesus Christ!
I just like snapped. Not that he was calling me fat. It was just that like he wouldn't like pull off. He just wouldn't stop doing this. So I'm like, okay, well, let's just both die. I don't care. So I come ripping into his fucking lane, and
you
then
really
he
gotta sign your check for that one. Fuck it, let's just die.
I'm fucking manic recently. I don't know, and then we were like coming down the decline of the bridge, and then there was like
This
offlet
is still on
to
the
like
bridge?
yeah. Well this
How
part.
long is this fucking bridge?
Dude, it's a big bridge, I swear. It's coming over like a fucking, I don't even remember what it's called. It's like a huge, it's like ocean. Like it's going over part of like an ocean. But we're coming down the decline at this point, and there's an exit, and I just go and I'm gonna kill both of us, and then he just whips it off into an exit. But this is like right near my house, so I know where that exit goes, and most likely where he goes from there, because it's only like a one-way onto another highway. So I start gunning it, and I'm going like 100 miles an hour, and I get off at the next exit and take that highway to where the other highway is, and I'm just driving at like 10 miles an hour, just looking for a white Mini Cooper. And I spent
Beef Boys fans out there, if you've ever seen a white Mini Cooper with license plate,
yeah, kill him, end his life. Bing chilling his shit. No, but
let him know the Beef Boys got shooters out in Florida.
Yeah.
Give him leukemia so you can meet Chinese John Cena.
But this is where it turns cringe on me, because then I just go and spend like 15 minutes looking for this car, just like wanting to just like scrap, which is just the most pathetic thing I've ever done. But I was just ready. I don't know what happened. It was, and I promise you, it was not him calling me fat. I've been fat for so much of my life. It means absolutely nothing to me.
Oh yeah,
but
no,
it was just,
I can confirm. You get called fat a million times on the internet. It's like, good,
Yeah.
your eyes work, buddy. Good job.
It was more so this thing like I convinced myself that I was chasing him down as like fucking chasing
Public
him down.
service.
No, it was like, all right, all he could do was call me fat, and he's so angry right now. This is good improv like practice. Like I'm about to go spit cinema him in a feminine. I'm just gonna spit jokes at this dude, and he's not gonna be able to keep up, and then he's gonna feel like the idiot because I don't care that I'm fat, but I'm about to intellectually dominate him. But really, I just wanted to fight him because he looked like a pussy.
But you wanted to commit murder-suicide.
Yeah, it was so stupid. But then, after all this, I got the Chipotle, and I walk into Chipotle. I just got some earbuds in, and I got my mask on, and I walk in. I get my Chipotle. It's like I ordered ahead, so it's like just on the little stand, and I pick it up, and I go to walk out, and I'm going to walk out of the Chipotle. So like I'm walking from the side of the line. And to pick up pickup orders, you don't go in the line. So I'm walking, And this dude comes in the door. It's not the same dude. I heard. It would have been so funny if it was. But this dude comes in the door, and it's just this fucking nerdy ass kid. This like 6'4" fucking nerd. And for some reason, and he doesn't have a mask on. And he looks at me, and I have my mask on, and he looks at me up and down, and he just goes. And then walks away, and I was about to fucking snap and kill him. It was just because I was wearing a mask and he wasn't. It was just this very much like. And he just like walked away, and I was about to snap, and then his friend walked in, and his friend was wearing a Zelda Triforce T-shirt and cargo shorts, and that was enough to. That was enough to deflate me. Like he was wearing the exact meme of like sandals, cargo shorts, the green and gold Zelda Triforce shirt,
right.
and that God, like so somehow that meme put my day and life back in place.
He was the band kid fit IRL. That's insane.
Your virgin buddy just saved your life, pal.
He was like the refreshing. He was the chaser.
You don't know me.
Yeah. It is funny what you said about how you don't care about people call you fat. It's more just like the principle, because I feel like that happens so much with me online on YouTube or Discord or whatever. It's like people say shit to you and it's like whatever, that's just like the internet, but it's not so much what they're saying, it's more the idea of like, why would you take the time to say that? It's like what you know, it's that's what really.
And you think you can say that to me?
Hey, you think I don't know already?
Fuck. Hey, come on, man.
Yeah, you think I don't know this?
Hey.
It's more just the idea of like, why would you? Why?
Yeah, no, I think the fat one is especially funny because that's just like, out of everything you can say, you clearly demonstrated that you're just going with what you're seeing.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Slow hanging fruit.
This guy's fat. Yeah, it was like this dude was so fucking excited to see that I was fat. He was just like, I don't even have to think of an insult. You're fat.
Fuck yeah.
I got an easy one, boys.
It's so funny. Honestly, I think that's a lesson to everybody out there. If you want to insult someone, you got to cut deep or don't cut at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, if you're just going off like surface level shit, like it's just funny. You know, it's funny. Like,
I mean, obviously, if you're yelling at someone from a car, all you have to go off is surface level, but.
Right.
At least be creative with it. Like, call out something that they probably are self-conscious about, like their nose or their teeth or something. Like, be like, what the fuck, man? Actually,
like, hey,
I like James's idea of just screaming, I can't hear you. That's the funniest thing in the world
dude, that is so funny.
Because even if someone, like, you're best friends with someone and they keep being like, I can't hear you, but like, not even just like to be mean, if they genuinely can't hear you, that's so frustrating for like you're trying to explain something. But so then if someone's trying to be mean to you and they can't even like, it's not that they're like their roast is bad, it's that they think you can't even hear it. That's so good. So that
and they want to get you so bad.
What my dad does is
pisses them off even more.
My dad's a really good driver, and he often encounters these like fucking dipshits who can't drive and just like start screaming at him for some reason. His thing is he just, which I like to employ as well, is he just acts really nice. He just like just hits him with a just be really, because they're like, you can see them in their car like. Yeah, and he's just like, stop being nice. He just wave, just smile and wave.
You're fat. Dude, that reminds me. A couple years ago, when I was still working at the pizza place in my hometown, when I was delivering, it was at the pizza place was on like the worst fucking 4-way intersection ever that only had stop signs at 2 stops and there was like no lights or anything, and there was these people had these fucking hedges that like blocked, like you couldn't look left and like see fully. It was just the most AIDS stop ever. And I'm delivering, I'm fucking, 30 minutes or less or they blow up the fucking bomb on my neck or whatever. Like I'm in the zone. And this old dude in a fucking Subaru Forester cuts me off in the middle of the intersection, and then another car that's like flying almost like kills me because this dude cut me off. And I usually don't ever really road rage, but I started fucking freaking out and screaming at this dude, and he was like 70 years old. And instead of engaging this or anything, he just like stopped his car in the middle of the road where he cut me off, rolled, I swear to God, took the time, rolled down his window, let it go all the way down, and then looked at me and went, and then started driving away. And
Dude, how did you not die on the spot?
It immediately put a smile on my face. I was like, you know what? We're not beefing anymore.
You know the thing
That's how you make babies laugh. That's not how you insult anyone.
You know what would have been funny
for
though?
audio
is-
listeners, James did the turkey hands, tongue out, jazz hands.
Yeah, no, he wasn't trying to insult me. He was
Peekaboo
just
thing.
trying to make it like a light situation because it's like he obviously cut me off and almost killed me. But like,
Oh, right.
what are you gonna? He's like, it's basically like I'm really angry, and it's like he with his infinite elderly wisdom was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it happened. What are you gonna do? And then just drove away.
Would have been fun. For some reason, I thought you were gonna say he parked up. I thought he was just gonna do some Grand Theft Auto shit, like he parks his car and then just gets out and runs away.
Drops a sticky
Like
bomb.
middle of the road, just
Yeah, he
fucking
just drops
opens the door, and just sprints into the bushes.
Yeah. Drops like a cooked grenade and just runs down the street, blows up the entire
He's like,
road.
oh, like really goofy screaming.
He's the main character.
Yeah, he is.
Holy shit.
Anyway,
All right. Reddit questions. We got to catch up on them. All right. So we got.
Wait,
a
we need to
lot
get
of
to the
fucking-
table.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Doplex, take us there.
Hey, Courtney, hold on. Hey, Courtney, can you get us there?
Shut up, bitch!
Kudos
Oh, no.
is gone.
Oh, Kudos didn't make it.
My penis
no.
is missing.
Oh
No.
I have autism.
shut up, bitch.
All right. So we've missed a lot of Reddit questions.
Sorry,
I don't think we've
we're
actually
sorry.
done any since our episode 23.
We're sorry.
Yeah, it's
So
been a minute.
we got some catching up to do. Just want to apologize first and foremost for not getting to these.
We have some
keep-
splaining to do.
We got some splaining to do.
We need to talk.
My
Courtney,
bad.
Courtney,
There it
put the
is.
twit
All
longer
right.
in the description, please.
Oops.
Yeah, put our twit longer in the description. Yeah. All right. So, exceedingly sad kitty asks 21 days ago. I'm sorry.
Oof.
What the fuck is wrong with Nintendo? I'd love to hear the boys' thoughts on Nintendo's shittiness. Everything from the recent cancellation of Project M/P+ at Riptide, the hashtag free melee debacle, the issues with Mario 3D All-Stars, and whatever other dumb shit y'all can think of.
We
All
did
right,
kind
I
of talk
like
about
this
this last
The
week a little
Nintendo
bit.
Defender has logged on.
Well, yeah, we did. So we talked about Pokemon specifically, but
Yeah.
Nintendo. I feel like we can answer
game-free.
this kind of
Fuck 'em.
succinctly. We're just saying Nintendo.
Doug
Good games
Bowser.
for the most part. Bad company policies and just overall, just how they run the company, how they treat
Yeah,
people
no.
who give them money. I think it's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Also,
Yeah.
Nintendo is kind of very similar to Apple in their business practices, where they build a really,
The owner
really
died of
solid
AIDS.
IP, and then they build a lot of hedges around it, so as to isolate their fan base and or, like kind of create a FOMO around not being part of, like their.
Yeah.
Whatever, like
Yeah.
buying their console or buying their phone. Like Apple really sucked people in with like iMessage and shit, and now that is a huge hedge, and also like the connectability between their devices and everything. But there's a reason like they have their own charging cables, and they have their own data cables, and they have their own
Everything's proprietary.
They have their own software and everything. Like their whole business model is like honeypotting you and then putting up a hedge in your way to get back out. And
Yeah.
Nintendo is basically the same exact thing, which I think is like terrible business practice, and it basically just like creates almost like a mini monopoly type feel where they. I mean, Apple
not
just
even
got Apple just got like found to be. Basically making phones to break within like 3 years so that you buy a new one. That's like fully factual, like by the government. Like they did a whole
Yeah.
investigation, and
They admitted it too.
yeah, and like
what the fuck,
that's
Tim
kind of
Apple?
that's kind of what these kind of business practices like facilitate, and I feel like Nintendo really does the same thing. Although they have been really good with the switch of like incorporating like third-party games and like working with others like select developers and shit, which is cool. But the whole thing they're doing with like copyright right now, especially like against, not even with just like shit on YouTube, which obviously we all know. Like, I was afraid that my whole channel was gonna get nuked when they like started making 64 tracks like copyrighted. But apparently it's only if you play it with like in like the entire thing with nothing under it. But like more so the copyright with like fan-made shit or emulators or anything, like they fully just try to like go after people's lives for like being like, wow, I missed these games and you won't remake them or anything. I'm gonna put it on a computer.
The stuff that really confuses me is the fucking Smash Bros. Melee, like shutting down the tournaments.
I don't get that at all. It's like, it is such a like integral part of the community, and it's all people who really love Nintendo stuff. Why would you take a shit on that? It doesn't make any sense to do.
Like these are hyper fans. Like, hey, Nintendo, don't know if you know this. You're not selling Smash Bros. Melee anymore.
What?
Other people are.
Doug
3 times the retail
punching
price
air right now when he got told that we're not selling.
It's like the fucking picture of George Bush getting told the fucking Twin Towers were hit.
The guy whispers to him as he's reading the children.
As he plays Mario Party with children, he's like, yeah. It's, I don't know, that's just so baffling because it's like, yes, okay, because I guess a lot of them they use is it Project M? They use a modified version of Melee. God, I said that weird.
Brawl,
yeah. So they don't.
I think Project M is a modification of Brawl.
Oh, Brawl, right? Yes, yeah. So either way, they're using a modified version of their software, and it seems like that's often what they take offense to. But it's also like, but you still have to buy the game to use. Like, it's not like emulating it where you're, quote unquote, stealing it or getting it for free. Yeah, they still had to buy Brawl, and then they like put it. It's essentially like adding DLC to it, like just to make it play different. Yeah. So it's like, well, they still gave you money at one point. And now you're shutting them down when like, it's just so anti-consumer. In a time when like so many game companies are really breaking down the barriers between like consumers and developers, and we're starting to see really cool collaborations happen, like say like Sonic Mania. Where they like entrusted the fans to take this mod and launch it, and it was like the best Sonic game in the last like 10 years. And then meanwhile you got Nintendo being like, oh, you're playing Smash Bros. Melee even though we haven't sold it in literally 15 years? Fuck it, we're gonna see
not only sold it, but they haven't hosted any way to be able to play it.
Yeah,
so it's like
people want to play
point,
it.
It's like if you could, if they were still hosting servers and paying like for sure, but like you literally are giving no one like any avenue to play this game anymore with anyone besides if they come over to your house, and it's like, and on top of that, it's like. And I'm pretty sure they like shut down entire like Melee like tournaments and shit over this stuff.
No, they have multiple.
And it's like at that point it's like the same shit with like Jeff Bezos, so like or not Jeff Bezos, like Amazon, like being the richest company in the history of fucking, as far as we know, the universe, and still treating and paying their employees like fucking garbage and exploiting people in other countries. It's like, what is you won. I don't get it. You have so much fucking money.
No, we want to keep winning.
It's the same thing with Nintendo. It's like you have so much money and your IPs are legendary and will go down in fucking history, and you can keep pumping them out, and a bunch of idiots will buy them whether they're good or bad. No offense, diehard Nintendo fans. But like, and then on top of that, you're like, these people are playing a game that we won't produce and won't host. Get
fuck
fucked.
that.
Yeah, get fucked. Yeah.
I don't think so. Are you fucking stupid?
You can play Smash Bros. Ultimate. Why don't you want to
down.
play Ultimate? Is there a problem with Ultimate?
Right. Yeah.
Do you think that's what it is? They're just like
Honestly,
trying
it could
to
just
like
be
beef
like
up Ultimate.
Like you should be playing the one we actually earn money from. There's a kind of parallels with that, and
I wonder.
Blizzard shut down this was like
Rockstar?
4 or 5 years ago. Blizzard shut down the most popular WoW private server, Nostarius, I think it was called. It was the only server you could play classic WoW. It was the biggest one. It was like the most like consistent, not piece of shit one, because the private server scene is very like, obviously it's just fucking random cunts setting up servers, so there's like no rules or regulations, and often they go down or whatever. But Nostarius was like it was very exactly the same as it used to be, and it was very well maintained and everything. I don't think it cost any money, but you could donate. But Blizzard shut it down, and a lot of people came out in defense of Nostarius, being like, well, you can't fucking play original World of Warcraft anymore, like why shut this down if you're not going to provide an alternative?
Yeah.
And then I think it was a year or two later, Blizzard did actually come out with WoW Classic, which is what everyone wanted. So it's like, as shitty as shutting down Astarias was, they did actually kind of amend for it by then bringing out an official version, which everyone loved. So it's like, okay,
but would they have known
Nintendo,
the
if you're
market
gonna
was
shut-
vying for that without? Would they have known the market was vying for WoW Classic without Nastarius? Like at that point,
Probably
it's
not.
like exactly like the guy who solved the GTA 5 loading screen thing, where like GTA 5 just notoriously takes forever to fucking load the first time you play that day or something, and like some dude figured it out, just some dude, and they've been trying to figure it out for years, and he figured it out, and they gave him like 50 grand, and then implemented it into the game, and he literally solved an issue that one of the biggest studios in the world hasn't been able to solve in the most profitable game in the history of the fucking world. For 7 years, and it's just some dude did it and they gave him 50 grand. Like, I understand, we should make WoW Classic, there's a huge market for it, but basically market research was conducted by those people hosting that private server. Let's like bring them in on the team, or like give them some fucking money, or at least give them like something cool when WoW Classic comes out, because they literally like have given you like something worthwhile. Like they did something that you weren't, and now you have a whole business platform off it.
I think that's what they did with the Resident Evil 2 remake, actually. There was like a small team in, I think, Italy, and this was like before they even announced it, and they were basically building a Resident Evil 2 remake, and like Capcom sent them like a cease and desist, and I don't remember if they like gave them jobs like to work on like the official one, or what exactly the case was, but it was something along those lines. And it's funny, Rockstar has, for years, they've notoriously operated under the business mindset that modders and like just the Wild Wild West community will single-handedly carry your game into relevancy for years. Because
I mean, it's been proven, because GTA 5 is still bussing.
Right, yeah, and just recently, because they might be remastering the GTA trilogy, which make them up penis order. Just recently, they shut down like these fucking like 10 to 15-year-old like mods for like old GTA games. Like they just shut them down, set them cease and desist. They're like sending out fucking like what do you call those when you want to sue someone? The not a pre-hype.
Shut up,
bitch. Subpoenas, you know.
Oh yeah, subpoena.
The
Subpenis.
The subpoenas. They're giving out subpoenases.
That's what a vagina is. It's a subpenis.
That's when you get so cold it goes
That's when
inside
it goes
you.
Yeah, the baby, my penis is below penis.
Shut up, bitch!
Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. Nintendo's a bitch. And a quick PSA, for those of you that don't know this, I feel like I want to tell this to you.
Here, I got it for you.
It is always okay to pirate and emulate Nintendo games. It is always okay to pirate and emulate
Andrew,
Nintendo
how do you
games.
feel about that?
Fuck you.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
No,
It's
I
not
agree.
only
Nintendo,
not only
this
is it morally
is
right,
in
it's very
Minecraft.
funny.
Let's say in Minecraft at the end of that. It's always
No, not even in real life. In real fucking life. In real life. In this
Nintendo,
plane that
I
we
love
live
you.
in.
Can I just say
support
one more?
emulation.
Always okay.
One more quick
Doug
point on this,
Bowser
because
and his
there's
boys are gonna beat us up behind the Taco Bell.
Doug thinks his kneecaps about to be snapped in.
Gay Bowser.
Quick addition to this. There was a drama literally like 2 weeks ago about Jagex, the people who made RuneScape, or Runescape as it's
RuneScape.
So they have a RuneScape Classic as well, like how WoW is WoW Classic. And this dude, I think the modding scene on that is also very popular. And apparently this one dude spent upwards of 2,000 hours making an HD graphical like overhaul for the game. I think it looks really, really good. And literally the day before it was released, and again, like all of this is like above board, like, you know, they're allowed to, like, you're allowed to mod the game and shit, unless it's, you know, outside like cheating or whatever, you're allowed to mod the game. And the day before it was meant to drop, Jagex, the company that runs RuneScape's like, no, you're not allowed to do that because we're working on our own HD remake.
This was before the HD RuneScape.
No, this was like 2 weeks ago.
Pain.
I'm talking about for the classic version of RuneScape, like because they've got modern RuneScape and they got classic
I see what you're
RuneScape.
saying.
And a
I
guy
think
made
I
like
saw
a
something about that on the old RuneScape subreddit, and they were
the subreddit
talking
blew
about,
the fuck up, like all just
Yeah.
dogging on Jagex, being like, why the fuck, like, okay, you're making your own version, that's great, why the fuck do you have to shut this guy's down as well? Like, couldn't you just have both or whatever? And now after days of like, you know, people bitching at Jagex, understandably, they've finally turned around and said, okay, well, we're now going to work with this guy to implement his one until our one's finished, and which is also just like also kind of a shitty, like, just your one probably is
like,
gonna suck. Just let his one
just
Isn't
implement this
RuneScape
dude.
free?
What's that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is even the? Who gives a fuck? It's a free game that's 20 years old. Why are you even doing anything with it anymore? Let this fucking guy run it. Fuck off. It's free.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's if I had guessed, probably because RuneScape was really ahead of its time with the free-to-play model, you know, and like it being online. And I think now they're like, oh, there's actually a market for this. We can come back, and it's already like an established thing. So like it makes sense. Like why
would you
do that,
even
but
waste
it
your
is
own
still
time
fucked.
doing that though? It's not like they're re-releasing the game. They're just gonna put like a patch in to update the textures. Let this dude do it for free.
Yeah, just take
He
his
wanted
one.
to.
Pay,
Fuck
chuck him,
it.
chuck him some cash. Who cares? He
that
did
really
it
doesn't make
literally
sense.
just
Some
for the
money
free.
for it.
Just like take the. You could probably take even like 3/4 of the money you would spend paying people to do that, and just give it to the guy who already did it. He's gonna be happy. The community's gonna be happy. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that?
You could have turned this
It's
like
weird.
super negative thing into a dub, and instead you're just like still gonna being a bitch.
Not even
and
turned it
prideful.
into one. You could have started it as a
Yeah,
dub.
exactly.
And
Yeah, it didn't even
that
have
would
to
have
be
been
a
a
dick
huge
from the
point
start.
of people would have been like, hey, fucking Jagex.
Jag off it.
Fucking,
I saw
hey,
the gears
Jagex
turning.
is the new CDPR. Fucking. And they were like, hey, bro, thanks.
Companies just be looking at like two options, and it's like a chocolate cake or put your balls in a bear trap, and they're like, we putting our balls in a bear trap.
Every time.
What can I say? It's worked for us before.
Good,
Looks
I'm not
kind of
gonna lie.
nice. I'm not gonna
Next question.
so
smack.
weird.
Oh, this didn't go to plan.
It's almost like the executives and managing staffs of most firms get paid too much and make really stupid decisions. That's crazy. I don't
mean,
know.
That's probably it. Moving on to Severed. I still don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Severed Hair. I don't know.
Severed
You
Hair.
know who I'm talking to. Severed Hair. I have one simple question. Do you guys also have that one movie or TV series that you love but are super toxic about? For me, it's Dragon Ball. I swear I could list off 69 reasons to hate or to why I hate the entirety of Super.
Oh, so you really love it, but you're mean to it?
Super specifically, which I'm one of those weirdos that absolutely loved Dragon Ball Super. So that was me.
I work at,
Wait,
I can't think of a TV show.
What
but
they're asking is if you have any show or movie that you love, but you are also very cynical and critical towards.
Oh, okay.
World of Warcraft, definitely. I know that's not a movie or whatever, but that's like the first I can think of where it's like I have so many positive and like passionate memories, but that game has turned so shitty in the last few years that I just like I've binged so many videos where it's just like famous WoW YouTubers just bitching about it like non-stop.
Yeah.
And it's so repetitive at this point, but I'm just like, yeah, you tell them, boys.
Get him.
First one that
shit
comes
on
to
him.
mind for me is The Walking Dead. Just because it came out when I was like in middle school, and like that shit was like,
Dude, that shit slapped when
dude,
it came out. It was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first
Walking
like
Dead was
the
fucking
first
awesome.
I like the first like 6 seasons, but the first like 4
Yeah.
seasons are bangers. And I remember like that shit came out and we like I was hanging out with people I've never hung out with before, just going to random people's houses on whatever night it was on, either like Wednesday or Thursdays, and like just random people I didn't know, just because there was like a Walking Dead watch party like that night or some shit. Like it was just fucking huge. It was everywhere. It was so epic. I remember we had debates about it in like debate class in high school or some shit. Like it was straight up bumping. And then
Dude,
they just
Daryl
like
and Michonne should
deviated
have sex.
super hard. Yes or no. And then it just deviated super hard and like just went all in on the zombies don't really matter anymore. It's just a struggle. It's just a struggle of human beings. Human beings are the real enemy, and then they did the same storyline 10 times. Yeah, exactly. It was just like, bruh, come on, man. This shit was
gone on for like how many
bad.
seasons now? Like 10 or 11 or something.
I think it's ending. It's ending
they're
right
on the
now,
last season.
and I think it's season 12.
That's
and
insane.
it's like it hasn't been good since like season 6.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I
insane.
do have one. I was racking my brain. Jurassic Park. The first movie. The first movie is like an objective. Yeah. Masterpiece of blockbuster filmmaking. The second two are not very good, but I adore them to death. Like they're so good, but there's so much shit that you can be like, what the. Who is in charge of this? What are you doing? Like the fucking the third Jurassic Park movie when they convince Dr. Grant to go there, he falls asleep on the plane and then he wakes up and it's like crashing. He's like, huh? What's going on? And then he turns around and there's this velociraptor staring at him. He goes, Alan. Who decided that was a good idea? It's dumb.
Andrew, if you were gonna make Jurassic Park 7, what would you be about?
Probably the park.
Probably about dinosaurs.
That's the perfect one.
No,
It's literally
don't
just
know.
a park. Like there's nothing special about it.
That's like a big question. I'd have to really
dinosaurs.
think about that for a minute.
Stream of consciousness. Just write the whole thing right now.
Stream of consciousness. I would.
Sorry, Kratos.
I definitely liked the fact that the first one it almost felt more on the rails because of how I mean you're on the ride, like they were on the ride and then it goes to shit and then they have to make their way back. The other two were just like, hey, this place is dangerous and we all know it, but we're going there.
Hey, they got dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So
hey, they got teeth.
I think they probably did a good job with the first Jurassic World. Where
So
it was
you're
like,
saying
we
Jurassic Park on ice?
Yes. Everybody's on ice skates and the dinosaurs are like slipping and sliding.
I feel like.
But every once in a while, one of them gets somebody.
Exactly.
We're in the second two, kind of like straight to DVD style ones. You know, like how there was that weird thing where I know they weren't straight to DVD, but there was that thing for a wee while where like a really popular movie would come out, and then they'd be like they just make 4 more, and it would have none of the actors from the first ones, like all the famous people, like didn't show up.
Yeah.
Dude, that is like an 80s and 90s. That's like a late 80s
And
to
2000s.
early 2000s, like classic stupid movie trope. Like this thing was
They
really
did that for
successful.
a lot of the
None of the
American Pie
actors want to
movies.
be in it again, and even if they do want to be in it, they're asking way too much money. So we're making it with all new characters, and it's like
like
what?
straight to DVD.
Like
This
Home
is
Alone.
not it.
Home
That's
Alone
not a
did
marketing strategy at all.
There's like a Home Alone 3 and 4, I think, that don't have Macaulay Culkin.
Dude. Dude.
It's like, what the fuck?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. I'd say for me, I can't really like think anything like off rip because I feel like I find it hard to be like critical of a lot of pieces of media just because I appreciate things for what they are. Like the second Mortal Kombat movie, Annihilation. Everybody fucking hates that movie. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Just because of how like cheesy and just fucking stupid and bad it is. But it has a lot of fan service and I love that shit. I'd say probably like maybe I love Breaking Bad. And it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. I love Breaking Bad, but I hate that scene where Walt like climbs into bed and he like just starts like
hate fucking his
Skylar.
fucking his wife.
Actually, he doesn't talk, but he says it in his eyes, like Skylar.
Shut up, bitch!
Let me slide into your butt crack.
I do.
like,
That's a good
"Walt,
point.
is
I love
this
Breaking
you?"
Bad. I love Breaking Bad. It's an amazing show. It's really well paced, but I feel like if I was going to rewatch it, I couldn't watch the first 4 seasons because there's just so much like Skylar and like Skylar cheating on him stuff and like dumb family shit, which is
Aren't
like
there
all very
only
good.
5 seasons?
The 4th season is like the best season of television of all time.
Wait, no. So
I think
I would start at season 4. So
okay.
sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, I'd
okay.
start at season 4. Anything for like Gus onwards is like when it's fucking like insane. But the first few seasons are all like real, like it's all good character building and it sets up the stakes and everything, which is all very important. But when you think about going back, you're thinking like, I can't wait for the crazy drug deal stuff, the cartels, all this shit. And the first 3 seasons are just like him like pissing around with like crazy, like almost comedic routines of him, like, you know,
it's
which is
interesting
fun.
you say that though,
huh?
Because it's interesting you say that because I thought the exact same thing. And then I went to go rewatch it a few months ago, which I did, probably like 4 or 5 months ago at this point. And I started at season 4 because I thought the exact same thing. And I was like, this just feels weird. I should start at the beginning.
It doesn't hit as hard.
And then
it doesn't hit as hard.
The first 3 seasons, I was like, thank fucking God I watched this again. Like,
Sure, okay,
these
interesting.
are, like, 4 and 5 are so good that it almost like belittles the first 3, but it's like, then you watch the first 3 and it's like, this is still better than any television I've ever watched.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, because I've
totally feel
rewatched
you
Breaking
on that.
Bad. Yeah, I've rewatched Breaking Bad probably like 3 or 4 times now, and like every time it's like when you start from the beginning, it's that like especially like when it's been like a year or something, you know.
Yeah.
And then like you start from the beginning, and just like the pacing and the build up is just beautiful, except for the scene where Walt gets into bed and he's like, Skylar.
all of like
Let me
what's
touch your butt.
Hank's
bed.
missus
You know what I'm talking about? The sex
Marie.
scene. Sorry.
all the Marie
Yeah.
kleptomania
Fucking
stuff.
Marie.
Just cut that whole bit out. There's like a whole bunch of
Oh
shit
wait,
you
when,
can
when,
put-
she, when she jerks him off.
No.
She's like,
no, her
if I can give you a boner, you have to leave the hospital. Is that what you're talking about?
no, her kleptomania.
No, the
Hey, she
kleptomaniac
watched that
stuff.
video. She knows.
Yes.
She
Yeah,
jerked him
check
off.
these are good.
I didn't
She's
put 2 and 2
beating his
together.
dick
You're
off.
absolutely right.
She
yeah.
went to
Yeah.
jerk him off. It was like, you gotta leave the hospital if this shit gets hard.
You're not
his dick
paralyzed. Yeah. Sorry, Kudos. Which scene?
No, you're gonna heard of kleptomania, where she like just has her weird stealing side plot that goes nowhere. and, like,
yeah,
dude,
she,
it's the
steals
worst part of the
spoons.
show.
like literally
Yeah.
does nothing for
Yeah.
the overall story.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, it's world, but that's the thing though. It's world building. Like it's stupid at face value, but like when you're watching the whole show, especially for the first time and you're like invested
Oh
in
no,
these
the first
characters,
time is like great. I think it's more like rewatching it. You're like, I know this goes nowhere. Can this scene just be
Right,
over?
yeah. It's just like in Red Dead 2, like that first like maybe like the first 2 hours are the most boring part of the fucking game. Like
That's true.
It's so fucking boring. But like once you actually get into the game itself, it's a 10 out of 10. But like that first hour or 2 of Red Dead Redemption 2 is just fucking a slog. So I
it is a
I
bit
think
of a
that also
slog.
kind of falls into that, but they are
Yeah.
trying to do that like character building, like, hey, this is Dutch. He's a
Actually,
good
you
guy
know what?
right
There's
now.
another
And,
one
hey,
for
this
me.
is
Red
Arthur. He's
Dead
the guy
2.
you play as.
Story mode, great, no question. But like all the
Yeah.
online stuff, again, Rockstar, as mentioned
Yeah.
previously, what the fuck?
Right.
How are you?
What, Rockstar, what the
How have you put
what the
one?
fuck?
Because
How
Red
do you-
Dead 1 online was cum.
It was so good, and Red Dead 2 Online was really good for a long time as well. But it's like they're putting out one update a year, and it's like your Rockstar games. The like
Well, they're
one
putting out
of the
40 GTA 5 updates a year.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
so
fucking.
weird.
Well, I think that's
It's
why.
so
It's just a
fucked.
moneymaker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't get it. Another question.
Kudos. What's your? You didn't say? Did you say yours?
I said
Yeah,
wow.
wow.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Pay attention, dumbass.
Hey, he's listening. He's mad from his Chipotle incident.
Here's a good one to round us out. This one comes from One Grumpy Goat. They ask, if you were caught in a homie handjob situation, would you rather be the giver or the receiver? Sometimes you or a homie is down in the dumps, and the only cure is a handy with the love and affection that only a friend
Can we
could
do
give
another
you.
question?
What if you were walked in on? Asked this while out drinking with 2 of my mates, and we reached giver 2, 1 receiver.
Was that him like
I wouldn't
soliciting that from
beat
his
any of
mates?
you
Like,
off.
was that like his way of bringing it up? Was
I was
like
gonna
to kind of
say,
make it
we
less
can probably
weird?
make this one
Yeah.
real quick and just round out on a
Well, why are we
Okay.
rounding out on that one?
a different question.
No, well,
I'd rather
we'll-
be
we'll
the
do another
receiver.
one.
I'm trying to come.
I don't want either of them.
Ideally, neither. But if I'm gonna do it, I'd rather not touch
Right.
someone else's dick.
Well, there was no
Yeah.
stipulation on like this has to happen, so it's like
Right.
then it won't.
It's just. I know, but he's saying, you know, it's just if it happens, you know, if you feel like you got to do it. Let's say one of us is actually paralyzed, and one of you guys are the only people around, and the only way to like check to see if I'm all right is to jack me off. Would you do it, or would you be like, no, you jack me off?
Because me checking to see if you're all right actually doesn't change. It's like if a
Right.
Doplex falls in the forest, do you beat his dick off? No, because it
But you
doesn't
could,
change.
that's-
It doesn't change if you're paralyzed or not. It's just
Right.
me. It's me checking for my own sake.
Checking to see. Yeah,
That's
you're not
good
gonna.
point. Yeah, it
keep going
doesn't
till
bring you
completion,
alive.
gotcha.
I guess it tells you whether or not you need to call an ambulance. So I suppose
Right,
that in
exactly.
theory could
God,
help.
okay.
Please tell me his dick works, please.
This isn't like an,
You know what's
like
funny?
an, ew,
And this is a-
gay?
this is a
Like,
lot
that's
about
not my response to this, but it's just like these are my boys. I don't like we have a good thing going. I don't want any of us to shut each other off.
You know the funny thing is, and this is a lot about Trump's America, is that like if one of us got concussed and then like one of us ran up and started jerking them off, people on the street would pull you off and try and stop you because they think you're like trying to rape or do something creepy. When really you're just trying to help your homie out.
That's
Right,
true.
exactly.
So you
I'm
know,
just trying to
my
see if he's
answer-
okay.
My official answer, because I want to humor this question, is I would rather be the giver, and here's why. I feel like I could put on a glove and not look, just like pretend I'm doing
no,
something
don't
else.
please. There's no gloves available. You got to check the box. Turns out you used the last one when you were marinating
OJ
beef
took all
brisket
of
2
them.
days ago.
All right, then I'm lubing up and I'm getting it done as fast as I
All of
possibly
the
can.
gloves
Courtney, zoom in on
available
this.
are in the back of
Courtney-
OJ's
who are you
Bronco.
Courtney,
being
zoom in
off?
on my hand game. Courtney,
you-
zoom in on
who
my
are you
hand game.
being
Look at
off?
this. Look at this. You
Which
see
one
this?
of us? You got to pick.
Courtney, zoom in on my hand game.
Courtney's got to put
Well,
one of us
that-
there. You got to pick which one.
All of you. in like a weird trifecta. All right, next question.
I thought that was the last question.
Our dicks
No,
are
no,
like
that was a quick little one.
twirled around each other like a red vine. He's just like,
All right, this is a good one to round off on. All right, Slippy Dongbag,
The legend.
our
Boy.
the legend, our boy, asks, any of you guys have a weird happening you couldn't explain away rationally? Ghosts, aliens, or man bear pig type situation?
Did we talk about this on that one episode where Doplex like crucified Andrew for not believing in aliens?
Oh
Did
yeah,
we talk about it then?
yeah, we did.
Doplex was like record scratch. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Doplex was like,
what,
you
you don't
Andrew
believe
out
in
of
aliens?
everything in this. No, I mean I was totally on
Hold
Doplex's
up.
side. It was funny. I don't know if we really got into it though. I remember that was like the prompt that we were going off of, but because I
Yeah.
definitely have some stories that I didn't tell. But
Yeah.
Tell
if
us
you guys
one.
don't, maybe it's not.
I don't have one, but my mum does, and I always think about that because it's really creepy.
Okay.
She
Tell it.
We had
Tell it.
so I grew up in the country, but I grew up in a country town, but before I was born, my mum and dad lived in like an even smaller town of like 4 people. Like it was a very fucking tiny. It was pretty much like a road with some houses on it.
Yeah.
One of those ones. And because my family has a house there and they were living in it at the time, I think. And I think mum said,
That is what you do to a house.
yeah, that's how houses work. But
Just look at it.
she said she was in the kitchen one time and she heard footsteps like coming up the hallway and she called it out because she thought it was my dad, and there was no one. And she was like, that I absolutely fucking heard
That's
people walking
I
in.
don't like
and
that.
and it was like again this was like middle of fucking nowhere. I don't think it was night. I think it was days. It wasn't as creepy. But she's like,
Yeah.
I like checked every room in the house and there was no one in. And then like my dad came home like several hours later and was like, "What up?"
Dude, I'm spending
See,
the
I-
rest of the
yeah.
day outside. I would not be
yeah.
in the house without somebody else. If
Yeah.
that happened to me, I'm like, I'm chilling outside. I don't need to be in here.
That house in
sleeping
general
bag.
is fucking weird. There's everyone who slept in there, I think, has just had like weird like experiences like individually.
Yeah.
It's a weird place.
I've always lived in houses my whole life, like either at my parents' house or like when me
Never
and my
lived in a
friend moved
cave?
out, we rented a house. No, it'd be pretty cool though.
Never
But
lived
I
on a roof.
I live in a no.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I live in an apartment now, and I'm a pretty paranoid person, and just like every couple weeks, some shit happens where like the other day I woke up to like it sounded like someone like jiggled my door handle like really hard. I live with my sister, but like
Oh, wow.
she wouldn't have been up. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning, and it just fucking freaked me out. So I start like looking through like the crack in the door to see if there's anyone standing out there, and I can't get like a really good look. And like it totally could have just been like, I don't know, a gust of wind came in through the, I don't fucking know, but it sounded like someone jiggled the shit
Right.
out of my door. And so like this isn't my story, but basically like every 2 weeks, I just get spooked by something, and I take one of those swords off the wall, and I just check my entire apartment. I'll have a fucking 6-foot-long broadsword in my hand to be like looking under the crack in my couch to be like, I wonder if a person could fit under here, and it's like this high off the ground.
You're just sliding the sword under your couch.
That is a part of living though.
Yeah.
No, I do that. I don't have a sword,
totally
so I don't do that. But every now and then, yeah, you'll be lying in bed at like midnight, getting ready to go to sleep, and then you'll just hear some shit, and you're like, "That's not right," and you'll go out and
now I gotta check the whole
do a
apartment.
sweep of the whole place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see the stories about those fucking. Like, I've seen like 3 separate stories of like, this family lived in this house for 15 years and little did they know a homeless old woman was living in the attic.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just like
a weird amount of those.
What the fuck?
James, I have a question. So what happens if one day you're going around with your Flame of the West and you stick it under the couch and you just hear like,
Dude, I fully...
You're just gonna like...
dude, when I'm doing this, I fully like get in the zone and I'm like, if I have to kill someone right now, I'm okay with it. I've come to
They're getting
terms.
skewered.
You're in my house at an unreasonable time and I'm scared. I don't feel bad. I will take your life.
Turning someone into a kebab.
James like stabs under the couch, hears a scream, he pulls it out and like stabs it through the couch like a fucking like King Arthur.
But it's like one of his family members under there is just like,
I was going to prank you.
It's really comfortable under here. It's warm.
oh, I'm sorry, Uncle Julio, for stabbing you in the back.
Yeah, James is famous Uncle Julio. All right.
Classic Uncle Julio.
Tell us your story and let's get out of this Taco Bell.
Okay, here's the thing. I have a bunch, right? Like, I have like a bunch of ones that like I can't explain, but like, you know, they're not that interesting. Just like, you know, like a couple little one-offs. But I will tell you a story that Sabrina experienced that I saw like the aftermath of. There was a stint where she was really into like ghost shit and like Ouija boards and just like, you know, all that kind of like freaky stuff.
Italian stuff.
And, and I remember I was on my way home from work. And she like called me crying. This was like fucking like 5 or 6 years ago, so I like barely
Where were you
remember
working?
It, but I want to say it was
it
porn store?
Yeah, was it the section?
it might have been the sex shop.
Fuck yeah.
Coming home
was
from the
wiping
sex
down
shop.
a big dildo and got a call from
Right.
Sabrina. I saw a ghost.
I saw a ghost.
Hold on, babe.
So-
They're about to come in the theater. Just like give them like a few more minutes.
I'll be right there, babe.
So I might be remembering these details all wrong, but I remember because I always told her like, yo, you shouldn't be watching that stuff because, you know, they say like the more you consume this type of shit, the more you like invite things in, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the superstition. It's like, you know, if you constantly surround yourself with stuff, shit will happen. So she called me crying because like she was, I think it was like her and her roommate, or either she was by herself, but she was like watching something or doing something that had to do with that, and pretty much all the shelves on her walls just fell. Like,
Oh my god, dude. That's an immediate
so, like,
piss myself.
yeah, and so like she called me crying, and she like locked herself in the room because she was scared.
Locked yourself
So
in
I
with the
got
ghost.
home. Yeah, so I got home and there's just like glass everywhere. I'm like, like I felt scared, like just by proxy, right? Like, because I can only imagine how she felt. Like, you know, especially it's like, you know, when you're watching like a scary movie at night and you hear like a little like, you know, or like a little,
You hear an
you know, it's scary.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, that definitely would have freaked me out.
I feel like that was probably like, I usually like stuff like that. Which that totally is like really scary, especially when you're in that zone of just like, I'm watching a bunch of YouTube videos about really scary shit at nighttime. Let's see what happens. But it like that could have just been like, oh, a stud shifted. And like all the screws fell out.
Yeah,
it very well could have been that. Yeah,
it's just the coincidence that makes it like terrifying.
it makes it spooky.
Well, it's like you said. It's like watching that shit like invites it into your life because you're just like getting this like. I feel like you're just like building this confirmation bias of like, I kind of do want this. Like this seems fun.
Almost, yeah. Because I didn't watch any of that shit for that reason. But so I know if like one of my shelves fell over, I'd just be like, fucking shelf fell over, man. This is annoying. My first thought would not be your hosts.
So
Can
I didn't have anything. Oh, go ahead.
Your
Kudos.
host is witness.
Oh no,
Finish that
wait.
thought.
No, you go first, Andrew, because my story is nothing to do with spooky things. I was just reminded by Joe Clicks saying.
Okay, so I have nothing's really ever happened to me. I have one funny one that's kind of related, and then one that happened to my mom. So the funny one, real quick, my brother was watching Psych, and it was Tuesday the 17th episode, which is like a parody of Friday the 13th. So it has spooky elements to it, and none of my family is really a horror movie family. And this was like 7-8 years ago, probably. So my brother was like 13 or 14, probably. So he finishes watching the episode, and he had the door adjacent to him closed to another room, and then the door to go downstairs was also closed. And he finishes watching it. The room is dark. He's kind of like, in that zone of like, oh, I might get... And he walks to open the door to the stairs, and the cat we had at the time was stuck inside the other room, and it... From underneath the door, because our house was super old, there's like this much space from the one door. It went got his foot, and his soul left his body for a minute. He told me about it. He's like, dude, I about pissed myself. He's like, I thought I died for a minute.
Dude, if he fucking spiked the cat and killed it, you can't even really get mad at that. It's like, wow.
Yeah, he was asking for it at that point.
What a dick move for a cat to just fucking pet.
So the second story happened to my mom, and this was when she was in like high school, I think, and she lived kind of close to had a movie made after it, the Amityville horror house or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
The one that had like 3 different families get murdered or some shit.
Right,
and it's believed that it's haunted. And some guy friends of hers were like, "Do you want to go drive by it at like 3 a.m.
Do you want to go drink the
watching
game potion next to it at 3 a.m.?
Yeah,
Photo of your mom going like this in full daylight.
Holding up a phone, calling the Amityville house at 3 a.m.
Gone sexual. Anyway,
How that guy's doing.
Pioneer.
they go out there and they get in front of it, and they're all like, "Damn, that's kind of crazy." And so my mom is like, my mom is rather easily spooked. She's always been that way. And she was like, "All right, think I've had enough. Can we just, drive away?" And, this is one of those things that's very easily explained, but freaky nonetheless, given the situation. They drove away to go get onto the highway to go back to where they all lived, and they kind of got lost, and they ended up circling back around to the house. And they were like, "That's kind of creepy. Let's go." And they did 3 or 4 times. They went and got lost and ended up at the same fucking house. And at that point, my mom,
it's Groundhog Day.
Yeah, and my mom at this point is like sobbing. She's like, "Get me the fuck out of here. I don't care if you have to drive through someone's yard. Get me the fuck out of here."
I love shit like that though, where it's like horror stuff in a group, like not just horror stuff, but like doing like me and my friends always used to, in like really big groups, so we would get like a caravan of like 3 packed cars and go do like weird NJs and shit, and like really spooky shit. And dude, I always wanted to, and no one was down to do it, but like do one of those things where you just like pay like $20 a head, and they just let you into like an asylum and like just leave you there for the night, and like you just like have a big sleepover. But like not one that's like chaperone. Like they just let you in there, lock it, and leave you there the whole night. It's like nothing's gonna happen, but it's like it's this feeling of like, if something really insane happened right now and we all died or started getting murdered, it's like at least we're together.
This experience is together.
It's like it's a bonding experience.
I've always wanted to do like that whole like urban exploration thing. Like not like your thing is like you pay the $20 and that's cool. But like every time you drive past a place and it's this old dilapidated fucking like factory, and you're like, and there's like graffiti all on the windows and shit, and you're like, people can clearly get in there. I want to go in there, and I want to see what the fuck's going on in there, because there's clearly some wacky shit happening, and that would be like the true like essence of that. There's just like, I'm just gonna go and just sit in this
we used to do that shit.
Yeah.
It was so fucking fun.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, you're more scared of like people than ghosts.
Exactly. It's like the crackhead sleeping in the fucking
It's
basement.
like a meth head who really wants your
crackhead.
Money. Yeah.
The crackhead who's
anytime
okay with
a
sleeping in a
crackhead
haunted
is more
basement by
scary
himself.
than a ghost. Yeah,
no, totally.
The most terrifying person.
Yeah, I do actually have a kind of not really a ghost story, but just like kind of like a spooky story.
You tell that, then I want to tell mine, and then let's cut this out because I need to piss so fucking bad that I'm actually going to wet myself.
All right, okay, I'll be
Tell
quick.
yours in 3 words or less.
Gotta have a piss bucket.
Yeah, you gotta have a piss bucket. You should have learned from Andrew. So when I was working as a debt collector, I would work Saturdays.
Dude, I heard dick collector as well.
When I was
Hand it over, boy.
All right, boys. So a few years ago, I was working as a debt collector, right? And I would work on Saturdays early in the morning until like mid-afternoon, and I'd work by myself. Like, you know, it's a full-on like office building, you know, but I was the only one in there. And I remember, I think I have a video on my phone. I'll have to find it. If I find it, I'll put it here. But I would hear like these weird fucking sounds, right? And like, it was every time I'd work a Saturday. I'd work like maybe 1 or 2 Saturdays a month, and it sounded like somebody else was in there with me. And it was, you know, office buildings are pretty creepy, and like just hearing that, and then. I think I asked one of my bosses about it, and they said that like I guess some dude like actually did fucking like die in that room, like he died on the job. He had like a heart attack.
Nope.
So then I was like, oh, that's fucking, because you'd hear like footsteps or like, you know, door jiggles and just like shit like that. If I find the video, it's here. All by myself.
What was that?
Kudos.
My story isn't spooky at all, but I'm going to round this off. I was reminded when you said your girlfriend rang you called you Carson and was crying. I had that one time. It was a nice relaxing, afternoon. I just had some McDonald's. I was walking home, and I get this
shout out to McDonald's.
I got a phone call from a girl bawling her fucking eyes out, being like, they took everything. They took fucking everything. And I was like, what the fuck?
What? Wait, did you know who it was?
Wow. So I was like, I'm sorry, who is this? And she was like, is this James? And I was like, yeah. And she like went quiet for ages and then just hung up. And I was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh,
now, at the time, my girlfriend, this was years and years ago, my ex-girlfriend, she had just flown overseas like 2 or 3 days before, so I knew it wasn't her. Because like that's your first though. Obviously the girlfriend I'm fucking, you know. It also just didn't sound like her, but that was, I guess a girl calling you high-pitched distraught could be anyone theoretically. Turns out what it was a girl. I'd started work at a stationery store as like a summer casual, and one of the girls there had like saved. I think she texted me a few days ago because she needed me to like cover a shift or something. And her boyfriend was also named James. And what had happened is she had gone home and their house had been broken into and fucking everything was cleared out. Apparently they were super. They were rich as fuck. Apparently, like all their flatmates. So they had like IMAX, fucking PlayStations, everything, like massive TVs. And all of it was fucking gone. And so she went to call her boyfriend, just was so distraught she just saw James in her contacts, clicked, called me. And so I get this fucking chick who I worked with, who I'd done like 2 shifts with, screaming and bawling her eyes out because all her stuff was gone. And I was just like,
dude, but to me, I would have been like when they got your name right and then just hung up, it would have been like, oh no, like someone's tenderizing me to come kidnap me and kill me or something. It's like
just hearing that
like
made me nauseous.
Yeah,
like just hearing Kudos's explanation of that made me nauseous.
That made me really uncomfortable.
Yes, I can't even imagine actually experiencing that because it's freaky as fuck.
I was weirdly chill about it because it was so bizarre that I was like, because I was thinking of like, okay, well, who are the girls who like have my number? Not many because I'm me.
Right.
So I was like, I went through and I thought like, okay, this chick, I know, why the fuck would she she's dating my friend? Why the fuck would she text me or call me and not him? So I text him as well just to be like, hey, have you heard from such and such? And he was like, yeah, she's fine. I was like, oh, okay, that was no her. So, but either way, it was like, it didn't take long to figure out like this is fucking weird. Yeah. Must have just been like a weird thing. And then it wasn't a couple of days later when I was at my job and I was talking to my manager about this weird phone call I got, and I was like, oh, she was like, oh, that's such and such. She got broken into a few days ago, and I was like, cool.
That's crazy.
Anyway, Courtney, put all that fart reverb and explode, and we're done.
Wait, before you piss yourself, your story about Doplex reminding you about a story reminded me about a story that's really quick. Yesterday, I got a phone call, and it was from a New Jersey number, which I rarely get anymore because I've been in Florida long enough. So I picked it up, and it was just this old man that just sounded so cute, and he was like, he sounded so cute. I want to fuck him. He was like. I just picked up and he was like, "Hey, Louie, I got it," and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Is this Louie?" And I was like, "No." I swear to God.
No, but tell me anyway. I want to hear.
And I was like, no, but that's what it was. It was like, I was like, because I wanted to like almost keep the conversation going, but let him know I'm not fucking Louie. But I'm like, no, this is James. What's up? Like, I wanted to talk to him. There was just something about him enticing. And he's like, this is William. Do you know Louie? And I was like, no, I think you might have got the wrong number. And then he's like, "Oh, sorry, man. I was looking for Louie," and he just hung up. And I was like, "No,
I didn't know what you were gonna say.
William,
come back!"
Why am I not good enough?"
Lied.
So, William, if you see this, please call
Louie.
James back. He is desperate for a conversation with you.
Please.
Yeah.
My brother.
If you're still alive,
I also want to
James back.
fuck.
Yo.
My brother's phone number was associated with a convenience store or like a tools shop, and he got calls all the time from people being like, "Hey, you got any lug nuts available?"
Yeah, but your lug these nuts.
He got so used to it that he at a certain point started going like, "Yeah, man, we got him. Come on in."
That's
Start
fucked up.
fucking with him.
That's fucked up. Well, anyway, Courtney, look me in my eyes.
Shut up, bitch!
End the episode.
Oh, actually, Courtney,
Beautiful.
we talked about this before the show, obviously, but this is the part of the show where you said you had edited together a really, really touching 15-minute tribute to Norm Macdonald, who tragically passed away this week. You said simultaneously it captured all of his best moments, including some never-before-seen footage, and was just like a really
He
beautiful...
finally comes out of the closet, I heard you got that
you
footage.
got specifically.
So, Courtney, if you could please put that very tasteful edit you put in right here, that'll round us out. We're done. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Here it is.
Stay beefy. Okay, I need to piss so fucking badly.